right, so today, taking you on a little guided tour here of the new UDT SEAL Museum. Now this just opened here October 4th. Apologize for the noise, I got a bus behind me. Myself and amongst some other SEAL team guys, we're docents, basically volunteers down here at the museum to help out and show people a little bit about the exhibits, talk about some SEAL team stories. And what I've got here in the background here is this really cool statue. I'll give you a close-up of it, but my old buds class here, 138 right there. See that? Show that guy right there. So yeah, come on along, I'll take you through a tour of the museum. So we'll show you the sights. Sneak peek at the museum. Very cool. Near and dear to a lot of our hearts is the old SDV, the old Mark 8 boat. And a frogman on his dragger up there. Very cool. All the diving rigs. And they're still working it. All right, so this is the hardcore team. Everybody in here working the merchandise here for the museum. What's your names? Mayan? Nicholas? Edie? Michelle? Crystal. All right, appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for all you're doing, all right? Thank you. All right. So in a real short time, the full-time staff, the paid staff, got this up and running on October 4th, and with a lot of fanfare and a grand opening ceremony, opened it to the public. So you can usually tell when the museum is open, you'll see these placards, this sandwich board stand out here on the outside. It's open from 8 to 4. So if you plan on making a trip here. So, and it's located down here, right downtown San Diego, right next to the trolley, which is right around the corner here. Trolley track's right over here, and across from, if you're looking on Google Map, you've got the Santa Fe station right across the street here, so pretty centrally located. All right, so come on along and I'll take you inside and we'll show you around. All right, got the little entryway here. Of course, there's the marquee there for the tickets. And this gentleman here to greet you when you come, collect your money. As you walk along here, we've got the Medal of Honor recipients here, all former SEALs. And then immediately you walk to your right.
And he began his own business. I mean, he was shooting.
And you get immersed into the immersive environment here.
So I tell her, hey, I think I want to be a Navy SEAL, and she says, what's a Navy SEAL? She has no idea. She says, no.
Yes. that this was like a calling.
I ended up just longing for being part of something that was much bigger. When you get to Bud's, I mean, you pull into the parking lot, like, who are these guys? Am I as good as these guys?
Super intimidating. You're getting ready to start the toughest training in the U.S. military, many even say in the world. And I remember walking out there.
All right, so looking at all the old dive gear here. So I've got the Mark 15 up here, which is a semi-closed circuit rebreather. Got a couple of non-magnetic tanks. You don't see this that often. Let's see, you've got a early, what is that? Early Drigger rebreather here. Again, these are really old stuff. You can tell because of all the canvas holding it all together. Then you've got a Emerson rebreather. This is before my time. This goes back to the 60s. So the old Emerson rebreather. Got a pair of duck feed fin. This is a U.S. Navy hard hat diver knife in its case. And that is a French rebreather unit. They're familiar with that one, but yeah, I got that in the display case. All right, and over here we have a continuation of the evolution of the frogman diving. So we've got the old double hose regulator up here on the left. This is an old, I'll say, swim belt used during World War II. Again, way before my time. So basically a flotation device. You've got the dive knives here. You've got an old snorkel here. You've got the Churchill or duck feet fins. Weight belt there. You've got another, let's see, this is an old Desco Jack Brown rebreather here. This goes way back. You've got a couple of twin 50s here with a double hose regulator. Again, this is all stuff that came from the, back in the day, you could purchase this commercially. Above that, you've got a Lamberson. This is an amphibious respirator. So this is one of the original ones they had. It's in a post-World War II. Again, this is really old stuff here. This is way back in the day. And then even right up to modern times, we all had our UDT life jackets. We wore those right up and through the 90s. So every frogman got issued a life jacket. Not that we used it, but we had them all the time with us just in case. And then down below, you got a picture of the Grayback. And the Grayback was the submarine that was retrofitted to be able to put the SDVs in. So you had what was called the dry deck shelter mounted forward up here, and they were able to stick a couple of SDVs in there and deploy them from the Grayback. All right, so what you're looking at here is Vietnam-era weaponry. Got a whole variety of stuff here. We've got the M79 grenade launcher. We've got a Stoner machine gun here. Sinks one down. We've got an M60, so 7.62. A good old trusty M16. Got an M3 grease gun, M1 carbine up here, Thompson submachine gun, and a 45 pistol. And then, of course, the old classic M1 Garand. Again, all weapons used during Vietnam, believe it or not. And what they're saying here for the 80s and 90s, you've got, again, the M16 with the M203 grenade launcher on there. You got one of my favorites, which is the Remington 870 shotgun right here. Awesome. Used to carry the snub nose version of that. Sawed-off barrel. Got the historic M14. Could be automatic, semi-automatic weapon. Typically used as the spotter for snipers. I got to carry this thing a little while. It's heavy, but very accurate. And then the beloved MP5, which we used to use for CQB back in the day, which is just, again, phenomenal. Heckler & Koch MP5, phenomenal weapon. All right, and on this side of the display case, you've got an M4 here with an EOTech on the top. You've got a laser designator in the front end here on the barrel here on the Picatinny. You've got in the Army what we call the M240 Bravo, which is the squad automatic weapon 5.56. The Navy called it the Mark 46 light machine gun. And of course, the Navy uses the old, or I say old, but the Sig Sauer sidearm here. Used to use the old Berettas, but now they said they moved up to the Sig. And on this side, we've got another. This is the again in Army parlance, the M249 light machine gun, and Navy calls it a Mark 48. Everything's got to have Mark something on it, right? It's the Mark 48. And then down below, you've got a 7.62 sniper rifle. All right, the famous Naked Warrior here. This is the vintage World War II Pacific Theater, mind you, because he doesn't have any wetsuit on or a dry suit. And seeing the original frogman here. This is the old combat swimmer, scout swimmer, UDT guys. This is what they wore. So you had the swim trunks, the old Churchills or the old duck feet, fins. Got the coral booties here. He's got his haversack here, which was heavy explosives, and the dive knife. Swim slate here, and of course the old mask here, the old porthole style dive mask. And funny thing is right up to the 1980s, we had the same outfits. So yeah, it was quite a historic outfit for a long time. Frogmen over the years, got a Korean War era dry suit, which is basically like a glad bag. Talking about the evolution of SEALs, 1962 with President Kennedy. SEAL operations in Vietnam. The SEAL Team 2 operating in the Rung Sat, South Vietnam. Got a SEAL dressed up in his, and what guys typically wore back in the day in Vietnam, which would be dungarees, jungle boots. Sometimes they just wear the Ho Chi Minh sandals, or basically flip-flops. Tiger stripe top. He's carrying an M60 machine gun, of course, with his belts of ammo around his neck. And then SEAL Team 1 fighting in Long Phu. And of course, we have our 2 Vietnam era Medal of Honor winners. Tommy Norris and Mike Thornton, who started out as enlisted and then later on became an officer. Okay, and up here we got the old Desert Storm chocolate chip uniform from back in the day. So yeah, we had this exclusively in the late 80s, early 90s. And you can see he's got his M70 gas mask, M60 gas mask on, his LBE, his H harness. He's got his magazines here, his magazine pouches on the side, and his M16 with his M203 grenade launcher down below here. So, yep, it's the what every good frogman wore back in the late 80s, early 90s, right up through Desert Storm. All right, and then this is the modern, more modern, I'll say in the Afghanistan-Iraq war. We've got the multicams here, M4 with all the optics and laser sights on the front. And of course, got to have the panoramic night vision goggles. Now, we went through different evolutions of this. I know when I first came into the 80s in the Army, we had Starlight scopes, which was a Vietnam era. So again, the night vision stuff that you held with your hand or put it on your weapon like a scope. It was super heavy. Later on, the SEALs, I had the AN PVSs, which is was a monocular. It had 2 of the optics on there. And it was like looking through a Coke bottle sometimes. It was terrible, terrible depth vision. And then to more modern versions of the bifocal optics. This was the more advanced one that you see in all the movies all the time. Be honest with you, I've got a chance to look through them. They weren't all that impressive. Matter of fact, it always gave me a bad headache afterwards. But hey, I guess some people liked them. But yeah, this is your modern warrior though right here. All right, I don't know if you can all see this, but this is the virtual reality section of the museum. So for a whopping $10, you can enjoy a virtual reality ride. So what you do is literally put that headset on. So one of these Oculus headsets here by Meta. Put that on, and what you see is you get inserted into this environment, and in a virtual reality mode, get a chance to go on an operation. So, and what you see is this. It's a lot more interactive than what I'm showing you, but you're able to see what the person wearing the headset is actually seeing. So, that's kind of cool. And then, of course, the seat vibrates when you're riding in a helicopter. And then they've got this rig up here which blows air on you. So when you're parachuting, you feel the air blowing on you as you're sitting down in the seat with the headset on. So pretty neat. Showing you here the SDVs. You saw the one in the overhead, just a Mark 8 boat. But yeah, there's ones in the 60s here, the Mark 7 boat. Is the Mark 8, the current Mark 8. Mark 9, which is the advanced seal delivery system. And then the old Mark 9 boat here, which is really cool. I used to have two outboard torpedoes on there. It's really cool.